Welcome to the Haven Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders, owners, and professionals are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Hear from industry experts on everything from marketing, leadership, financing, and more. Brought to you by Haven, a co-working space where you can connect, create, and get stuff done.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Haven Hubcast. I am your co-host, Nancy Sheed, and I am very excited to be here today with Shea Cohen and Jeff Cohen, and they are founders and business partners of a company called E-Bration. I'm going to let them tell you more about E-Bration in just a second, but what I did find from their website is it has the mission to create everlasting memories through each of life's important milestones. Welcome, Shea, and welcome, Jeff. I'm setting you up to sort of tell us how E-Bration does that and learn more about your company.
Thank you so much, Nancy. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, me as well. We appreciate being on and look forward to the feedback that your listeners have for us. So E-Bration came about as a result of our own wedding night, actually. We were going through our wedding cards and messages that we got from all of our family and friends. And, a light bulb kind of just went off. Like, it would be cool to be able to just digitally preserve this somewhere without having to, keep them all in a shoebox or a drawer and bring them with us wherever we go in life. So it was great to, we just manually took a photo of them and turned it into like a little book and then decided to turn it into a business. And Shea can share her reaction to it when I shared with her the vision when we got to our honeymoon.
and Shea, how far back are we talking? Is this years, months? Like how far?
2018.
Okay.
We got married 3 years ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yes, in his vows, he told me that he will turn on his out of office and not do any work on our honeymoon. I was like, one big request. I was really excited. We're going to Bora Bora. It was like my dream destination. I was like, I don't want to see your computer. I don't want to hear anything about an email. I want to be jumping into the ocean. Like, that's it. And so we arrived in LA. That was our layover. And we're at a red light. And I kid you not, we're like 10 minutes from the hotel. We just landed. And he goes, I have a business idea. And I'm like, you haven't even been unplugged for like a day. Like,
I couldn't hold it in.
I love you, honey. And
so then I said, so he like brought it up and I was like, all right, this sounds great because it's so, the whole process of going to CVS, picking out your card, getting the cash, putting it together, giving it to the couple. If that was digitized and having all of your memories saved, like, that's incredible. That's amazing. How could something like that not already exist?
Right.
Like that platform. So I said, like, let's put this on pause because I really want to like jump in the ocean and I don't want to think about this right now. And when we got back from our honeymoon was when, we really kind of the wheels started rolling. And I also found out I was pregnant. So the wheels were rolling for me in a little different direction.
Exactly.
Than the wheels for him. And so.
Well, and explain for listeners literally how E-Bration works. You've alluded to a little bit in terms of the cards, in terms of receiving cards, giving money, life's, we talked about life's journeys. Give us, your wedding sounds like it was so fresh on your mind, but how would it work? Or for people who've never heard of it, or this might be a new one-stop shopping solution, how does E-Bration work? Or how did you envision it working when you were in launch mode?
So, for instance, we just had a baptism. And we just set up the event for our children and, Finn and Lucy's baptism. And we, sent out the invitation to all the people that we were inviting. And then through that invitation, it says, would you like to send a card through E-Bration? So I'm not sure how many cards we got, but, let's say 10 cards, right? We are keeping it small because of everything going on. Everybody sent in their cards, if they wanted to send money along with that or whatever they wanted to do. And then that was all saved for us on our digital platform. And then we got to look at all the cards, on the baptism day, to show Finn and Lucy when they get older. For me, what I think, as a mom is going to be really special is to have all of Finn's life events, on his digital platform. And when I was pregnant, we were first focusing on weddings. We were first, that was how this idea came about. We were focusing
Right.
on just weddings and just kind of a digital platform where you could save all of your wedding cards. And then, through actually working with Marie Roca at Haven, she has come, we would meet with her before, COVID back in 2019. And, through, spinning ideas back and forth, we kind of came about with the Lifetime Dashboard, where all of life events, birthdays, not just weddings, but baptisms, bar mitzvahs,
Graduations.
yes, all of life's big milestones and events could be on this one Lifetime Dashboard. And for me, when I was pregnant, I think after Finn was born and we kind of made that pivot, towards Lifetime Dashboard, I was like, this is going to be so cool for him. He had his first birthday, it was a Zoom because of the pandemic.
Right. COVID sort of played into supporting this.
Yeah. We had,
proof of concept.
Exactly. Like his Zoom birthday, everyone sent, through their sent him an E-Bration card. So now his baptism, I didn't do, I don't know, maybe I did a second birthday. I had a second baby, so my brain is
got it.
Maybe I didn't. But yeah, no, he, has 2 life events. And for me, what's really cool as a mom is, by the time he's 18, he'll have so many life events that he can go back and he can see what his Nana sent to him or what his aunt or what whoever sent him these like beautiful messages,
Yeah. And it's so timely. We won't make this about me, but for a second, but I am midway in that stage, right? I have the memory boxes. I don't have the memory books or the scrapbooks or the baby books. I have the big memory boxes that have all of these said life, sort of pieces of paper or the cards or whatever. And when I learned about E-Bration, I'm like, oh, that is the perfect place, right? Like, because I have the empty baby book that never got filled out, right?
Yeah.
And on the flip side, when you talk about the dashboard, I'm also, slightly looking at the other end of the spectrum and have had people, starting to get interested in family trees, right? And all of these life events are the things that are being tracked on family trees as well. And these are the actual documents and information we're now tracking down looking backwards. So, I've been wondering out loud, like, how is this going to happen when we don't have letters and cards and we don't have these records that people have saved for good or for bad, or they haven't saved, right? To track these. So I feel like this sort of, you're figuring out how to handle this on 2 fronts, the appreciator as well as, the nostalgia for when you want it, much later on. So it's very
looking
exciting.
back, to see, my first birthday, and who's that?
Well, and you don't have to be the super crafter, person with everything to make it a production to have saved it. You've kind of made the ease of use so fantastic. You alluded to talking to Marie at Haven, and I know Marie works with companies who are kind of in startup mode. How did your journey go from 2018 to the idea to your launch recently? Was it September of this year? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So walk us through sort of lessons you learned in startup or things you wish you'd known in startup or advice you'd give to somebody else, just in terms of this launch mode. I know there's lots of advice out there, but everybody's journey is different.
Yeah, sure. So, when we first started production on this, as Shea mentioned, we were just focused on the wedding industry. And we were actually just about to launch the wedding version of our site right before the pandemic hit. So all of our wedding customers were postponing their weddings and we were figuring out what to do. So
Yikes.
we knew we were going to build this into more of a life event platform eventually anyway. So we decided just to do that earlier so we could start to get some beta feedback from people. That was the big thing we needed to do before we brought this to market, was get feedback from people on the site, if it's user friendly, what other features we might be thinking of. So our full beta site launched about a year ago, November of 2020. And we had about 25 events hosted on the platform. About 250 people used the site between hosts and then their guests sending them a card. And we collected feedback from all of them, figured out where we can make the website more user-friendly, what we needed to add on to it. That really put us in a better position to know what we were getting into when we were ready to fully launch it, which we did last month. And we're still collecting feedback. We're still working on making the site as user-friendly as possible and adding on new features. But this past year and a half really of collecting beta feedback was instrumental. So that would be my biggest piece of advice, is just getting feedback from as many people as possible, getting connected with people in your industry and startup advisors such as Marie that we connected with through Haven. So that was a big focus for us.
And you mentioned that the connected is part of the connecting also, and you mentioned the wedding industry, like finding partners in this industry, or, I mean, is that a key part, or are they seeing you as competitors because you're taking business? What does that look like? Because it sounds like you're in this new space, right? What did that look like in terms of people who are either already in it in the old school version or just understanding the industry better? Have you had some interesting either partnerships or people who want to, see the vision with you and want and see how maybe their business could either overlap or be relative to what you're working on?
There's actually, just to go back to what you were talking about, your family tree and, life events and milestones, looking back on them, there's actually a website called Collectionaire out there that actually puts your whole family in a family tree type situation where you can see, like, you've been emailing with him.
Yeah, I've been emailing with them, and this is an example of like somebody we're looking to get into with a partnership. But it's a way for families to go back and see, maybe old photos or videos or messages that have been shared amongst family members, and have them all saved in one place digitally. So maybe family members who aren't as well connected with others can see that, and that's a good opportunity for us from a partnership perspective, because when you factor in life event celebrations, there's going to be a card involved where people are going to be sending a card.
I kind of thought when I found them, I thought to myself, oh, is this, do they alert you of Nancy's birthday or
Right.
Nancy's anniversary or something like that? And Jeff was saying that that's not what they're really about. And I said, that would be great, kind of like a collaboration of, why don't you remind somebody it's your Aunt Nancy's birthday, and then
Right.
maybe they want to send a card, or maybe you want to create Aunt Nancy's birthday. If you're an aunt, I'm sorry, I don't like Aunt Nancy.
I am, and it's all good.
Okay. Yeah. So, if you wanted to create an event or something through Collectionaire, use E-Bration. But, we were reaching out to, I think, the Knot and places like that. But it's more of paid advertising.
Yeah, those would be more advertising partners.
But we are looking, yes, for more partnerships. Jeff's worked with a lot of wedding planners and done, trying to actually move more towards the event planners, because
Right.
that's kind of like a lifelong connection, because
Exactly.
they'll get married, but you always have a birthday,
Right.
you always,
Right.
baby shower or any kind of event that comes after that.
Yeah. So always having conversations. You never know where they might lead,
Yes,
right?
yes. I actually met a Nancy at the park who was a part of the what was it? So, the playground, something in the town we just moved to, and she was telling me, she's like, what? She was so excited. I just was just like, what do you guys said? Oh, we started E-Bration. She was like, my daughter's having a birthday. Like, she was so excited. And, it's just putting yourself out there and just telling people, because you never know, we just launched, and, with the times, it's hard to get out and like meet people, with everything going on. But, when I go to the park and if I'm chatting up with the new mom, I might, mention,
Exactly. Well, that was my next question in terms of startup and launch. At this point, just the two of you? Are you guys the team and the face of E-Bration? Are you up ready and dealing with marketing, or where are you in that kind of stage of your business beyond launch mode? Still having beta testers, or are you past beta testers and you are fully functioning? What does that look like for you? And what are your biggest needs while we have this audience we can be asking for?
So right now it is just the two of us involved with the company itself, but we outsource a lot of the work. We have a web development company that we've hired to build out the site. We just started working with a marketing company, Edge Space Marketing, actually, who I think is also associated with Haven. So they're going to be doing our social media and SEO. And then we have a team of card designers that have created cards and invitations for us. And then we have an advisory board. Marie Roque is one of our 7 advisors. So, we have a lot of resources that have helped us with this. But as far as anyone that we've actually hired, we're still pre-funding. So that's hopefully within the next couple of years.
It takes a village. So we've talked about Haven and the different sort of ways they've been resources, but you all also, if I understand correctly, were part of the Haven Hatch process, right? You actually did you go through the Haven Hatch, what we call the nice pitch night, so to speak?
Yes, everybody was very nice.
Okay. So talk us, we've had it's been exciting to sort of check in and say, how are things after Haven Hatch? So how did the sort of getting ready and pitching at Haven Hatch and then after Haven Hatch help you in your journey as well? I love to hear sort of everybody's experience with that.
Yeah, so Shea presented there, what was it, January 2020? It was like right before the pandemic.
Yep.
It was like one of the last
still in person.
Ones.
I actually was holding Finn. I was holding my son.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's 7 months old.
7 months old. Yeah, it was made me a little less nervous. I'm a very nervous public speaker. I mean, I don't really public speak because I'm too nervous, but
she's
got it.
But when I do, I'm pretty nervous. So it was very helpful to have Finn up there.
And was that the first time you sort of pitched your company, to an audience in terms of this is a business, we're talking about it, this is happening? And what did you learn through that process? Was it more about messaging or was it more about the fundraising? What were some of the things that you weren't expecting when you had to go through that process?
I would say it was more about, collecting feedback from people on the pitch, but also on the business itself. We actually met one of our beta customers at that event. So, it was good also from a sales perspective for us. But yeah, just making connections and getting feedback to better tune up our pitch. We've made many adjustments to our presentation since then and many adjustments to the website since then. So that was a main focus point, but also, of course, getting connections with investors and people who can help us fund the business.
I love it. I love the Haven magic. So before we...
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say the magic, it helps, your confidence and your ability to talk about your business. I, as somebody who does get nervous about public speaking, having all the, positive feedback, having, people come up to you talking about, the more you talk about your business and your ideas and where you see things going, the more comfortable you get speaking about it. So, having that support, that group of women, seeing how successful they, all, what they're going through and just seeing everything is, really, inspirational.
Yeah, I love it. And it's been happening even in COVID, but in real life, it's also a magical thing and very serendipitous.
Yeah, for sure.
So before we wrap up, for those of us who are last minute Lucys or last minute Larrys, but we love to celebrate as we're looking toward the holidays or planning out being better celebrators maybe in 2022, give us some examples of how we could use E-Bration, and we should keep E-Bration top of mind in terms of being big celebrators and making it easy.
Yeah, well, of course, one of the biggest things that happens around the holidays is you get a million Christmas cards or holiday cards, depending on what you're celebrating. And then, I don't know about you, but it's a little painful sometimes to throw those in the garbage. So another big benefit of E-Bration, which we didn't really touch on in the beginning, it's not just about sending cards through our platform that can be digitally saved. You can also use it to digitally upload any physical cards that you get. So that way those can be preserved as well. So if you get, 10, 15 holiday cards in the mail, you can use E-Bration to save those and be able to look back on them for years to come.
You'd have to create the Christmas 2021 and then upload, all your Christmas cards.
Listen, that's better than the manila folder I'm going to have this year. So you've provided a safe space for me. Thanks.
And you can put a beautiful picture next to it. So when you go to your page, you can see, a beautiful family photo of your, together in front of the tree or whatever you feel like. You could upload all the pictures you want, things like that. It looks nice.
And then for all the guys out there planning Christmas or New Year's proposals, I know there's plenty of them. That could be your jumpstart to getting your wedding planning going, starting with E-Bration. So that's something else you could use it for.
Didn't even think of that. You're scoring one for the less than organized planners to get ahead.
Yeah.
Well, Shea and Jeff, it has been great to speak with you. I love hearing how the Haven magic brings things together and learning, selfishly getting to learn about your business and your company and where you are. Where can people find you and learn more about E-Bration, whether to open an account or find out more about your business or just follow you along as we watch your company grow?
Yeah, so our website's E-Bration.com. So you can sign up there. We send out like a monthly newsletter, and we have our Chief Baby Officer and Chief Toddler Officer, as we call them, give a little update at the bottom too. That's definitely the biggest hit of the newsletter.
I love a good email newsletter.
Yep. And then we're E-Bration on Facebook and E_Bration on Instagram.
Fantastic. We'll find you there. Good luck in your journey, sort of post-launch and into the holidays and a new year that looks hopefully bright for all of us. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. You too, Nancy. Have a great one.
Thanks, Nancy.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Haven Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders and owners are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Haven is a co-working space and virtual community located in the heart of Fairfield County, Connecticut. Haven is a hub for business owners and professionals to connect, create, and get stuff done. Find out more about the Haven community online at haven.com. That's HAYVN.com. Haven Hubcast is produced by Sound Advice Strategies.